När trollmor har lagt sina 11 små troll och bund.
Thanks to Snorri Sturlason, Icelandic historian 12th century, we can enjoy the prose Edda and probably also Heimskringla, which, like the poems in the poetic Edda, consists of ancient myths and legends about the lives of giants and other creatures. There are several references to how kings and people showed respect for the spirit of the land, as well as giants, gnomes, and wits, with sacrifices as well as vivid descriptions of the Aesir and the giants that both possessed grand and great power in the political and historical context of Viking times. Hey you perfect soul, I am Sofia, PhD sociology and author within self-help spirituality, fantasy action and sociology. I grew up in southern Sweden in Småland, lands of small, which was already populated at least 8000 BCE. This land of the small were thriving during Viking Age and rebelled against kings and the church when they, during the Dark Middle Ages, tried to take control. Småland is abundant of magical forests, and there are many legends about supernatural beings and human encounters, many of which were told to me by my loving and wise grandmother. This rich collection of Scandinavian folklore, I believe, origins from real-life experiences in ancient times, when giants that we meet both in Sumerian tablets and biblical texts migrated from south up to the north. The Middle Ages was so, as we know, Dark Ages, and carried with it Christian prohibitions and demonizations of all kind of nature creatures, where new laws showed the church's attempt to prohibit the beliefs and the practical rituals of sacrifice to these beings. Many older beliefs were slowly adapted to new religious frameworks or marginalized into folk tales. Slowly the concept of jötnar faded away and the existence of giants was erased, whilst the word troll suddenly implied something sinful and dangerous. For example, witches, evil spirits, demigods, but also abnormally tall people or even black people were called trolls. The giants, however, were never described as only evil beings. They were described as immoral sometimes and easily angered, but with no evil intentions toward humans. Instead, the legends described how easy it was to scare giants away with steel or silver. They were also, like the Aesir, able to perform magic. Trolla is in Swedish the word to perform magic. They could also shift and turn into an animal, and, which I will talk more about in the next video, they loved gold. Another creature that were in existence in ancient times, but slowly vanished from human beings' memory, is draugr, draug or drag. In modern times, they are sometimes referred to as supernatural zombies, but that was not the original description. The draugr, a word very close to dragon, or drake in Swedish, was an undead creature, far from mindless. The draugr was a strong and malevolent creature, but above all, it was an elusive creature. Draugr or draug meant in different language to mislead, to deceive, to impostor. The draugr was said to live in royal palaces, often guarding treasures of gold buried in their mound. A third creature that was erased during the Middle Ages was Näcken, Nix or Nocken, a male water creature who lived in rivers, streams, ponds, and lakes in the inlands. Näcken doesn't seem to be connected to the female water creature like fairies or mermaids or sirens who attracted people with their beauty or singing. Näcken was feared as he often tried to lure people into the water to drown them. The ancient legends never depicted Näcken as a beautiful youth like we do today, but as a dragon or a snake. That is why these creatures were also called drakus. Näcken could change into objects made of gold, for example, gold rings or gold cups that would float in the water to lure people to try to take them. Thanks to the 19th century national romantic wave of folktale collection, we can today read the stories as well as understand how viable these stories really were, since both oral tradition and practical everyday life memories still lingered. Even today, this knowing has affected planned building renovations, for instance in Iceland. Peter Christian Asbjørnsen was a Norwegian folklorist. He collected a large number of folktale collection with stories of giants, trolls, elves, and other supernatural beings. In the stories, the forgetful humans are punished, the trolls are tricked, and there are lots of human encounters with giants and trolls. Also in Sweden, John Bauer, painter, Selma Lagerlöf, writer, and Gustav Fröding, poet, were attracted to the folklore stories and mythologies of supernatural beings. And of later time, Astrid Lindgren, Swedish author, often wrote about elves, gnomes, and other beings who lived close to people but in their own world, and where respect and politeness were the key for peaceful coexistence. They all contain stories about the little people or the hidden people. But none of the stories talk of the most important thing of all when it comes to the giants, the love of gold. This I will talk about in the next video. Bye.